I think we're live. Welcome everybody. Welcome back. What's up, Longo? How you doing, dude?
Chilling, man. Happy hurricane.
Happy hurricane. Obviously, where I was at didn't really get hit all that bad, but I can't say the same for was it Minnesota Key? Is that the name of it?
Yeah, Minnesota Key got hit, maybe the hardest. Not necessarily the flooding, but just like devastation. Worst flooding was probably closer, either in St. Petersburg or over near Newport Richey area, a little north of Tampa Bay. But
And during the stream that we did, I think it was a Tuesday or something. I don't remember. Around the hour and 44-minute mark, you had mentioned that Siesta Key was in the crosshairs because we talked about the Quartz conspiracy, Asheville, all that stuff, and then the highest concentration of quartz sand being in Siesta Key, and lo and behold, it hit right in that area, and it completely decimated. So I guess the burial mounds did work in Tampa this time around, right? Because it shifted last minute.
yeah, it hit a little south of Tampa Bay. So people saying that the Indian mounds didn't work, well, that's fake news. Indian mounds did their job. But there is that story about people digging into the Indian mounds around there. Some people think that might have caused the storm. But yeah, Sarasota Key, when I saw that Spruce Pine, North Carolina, was the target, if we can say that, the target of Hurricane Helene, then that quartz sand production is very unique. And the only other place in America that I think of when I think of quartz sand is Siesta Key. So if there's any conspiracy behind the storm, it has a lot to do with this very unique, very rare quartz, powdered quartz sand.
And
So
dare I say that the burial mounds did a better job at steering the storm than HAARP did, bro.
maybe, maybe. But we're gonna get into it tonight. They have their own methods of using dead people to steer the storm, feed the storm, whatever you want to call it.
Before we start, though, dude, what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on? And we're gonna be talking about the feeding of the hurricane, quite literally ritual sacrifices to these storms. I'm gonna be talking a little bit about. We're gonna de-occult the HAARP, what HAARP is, NOAA, and all those different the organization NOAA, NOAA.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on HAARP? Do you believe that they are conjuring up these storms and sending them places? Like, realistically, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts are I've never seen it in person, but I've seen enough to kind of make sense of it. When I was very first introduced into conspiracy theories, this first dad, one of the dads of one of my friends, who I always tell the story about, he was a conspiracy theorist dad in my neighborhood whose kids I was friends with, and he would give me all these conspiracy theories when I was very young. And one of them was HARP. So HARP was kind of like one of those original conspiracy theories I ever heard of. It was like 9/11, um, of course, Georgia Guidestones, UFOs, of course, and then HARP. HARP was a huge one. This guy, his name was Elliot. He used to play me recordings from around Florida that he swears is HARP. He used to say, "Yeah, it's like a trumpet out of the Bible, it sounds like bugles from far away." And he always used to say this stuff. Back then, it was mainly focused on earthquakes. There was earthquakes in Haiti back then all the time and stuff like that. There was a tsunami in the Pacific, all these things, and he was adamant that HARP was behind all this stuff. So way back then was kind of the deepest I ever went on it when I was like 15 or so. And he told me back then, yeah, it was earthquakes. Earthquakes, like they can vibrate the ground with that. We know that. Well, now, 20 years or 10 years later, I know we've all seen that they've perfected this. They can heat up the air. They can do the same thing that they were doing to the ground. Because HAARP, for those who don't know, HAARP is like a ground penetrating radar. It's kind of, back then I remember it was used for like mining purposes, where, the earth is filled with all these valuable materials, gold, silver, people want to find them, oil too. All these things have their own like density. They have their own um, weight and thickness and stuff like that. So when you, kind of like how you use a metal detector on the beach, this is kind of what HAARP is. It's sending like a signal, a frequency up into the sky. This is how they tell us it works. We don't know that, but they say that it's all these rods, these antennas down in the sky, and they are able to sync them up like a radio antenna and send a frequency up to one of the spheres, the ionosphere, one of the atmosphere. They send it up and they tell us that they can pinpoint it. It's like hitting one of your friends in the eye with a flashlight or a laser beam through a mirror or like a window. You can aim it the off the ricochet. They ricochet this off the atmosphere, and then it comes down and it vibrates the ground. So these imaginary or invisible radio waves start on the ground in these antennas. They get sent up to the atmosphere. They bounce back and then they penetrate the earth. So now they're coming downward and they go into the earth, and it's like a metal detector. Its official use back then was that they can use that to safely and sustainably check what's in the ground without digging it open, right? If you're sending that frequency down and it's all gold down there, it's all going to send back the same signal. Oil will send a certain signal. So it's like a big metal detector. Well, the story as I learned it was they figured out that they could turn this big metal detector up. And by turning it up, you can essentially vibrate to like a physical vibration where you can cause an earthquake. You can cause landslides, and they, I guess, recently,
Whoa. Hold on, dude. You're bugging out right now. Is it me or can everybody hear that? Try getting out and coming back in.
Here. You hear me
There
now?
you go.
All right. Well, we got one Mossad infiltration on the night.
Yikes.
So they bounce back this radio signal, goes up into the sky, bounces down, and that's officially what it's supposed to be used for. Now, the conspiracy theory is that they use it for everything else. That they can, pinpoint it on a house, that they can vibrate a building till it falls. They can hone in on a certain material in a building and make that give way before any of the others, like World Trade Center, that type of thing, where certain materials are combusting, but others aren't. It's not a heat-related fire. This is it's like a induction, not induction. What is it called? Convection. It's almost like a
microwave, right?
Yeah, where certain densities are affected, but others aren't. Like you see in Lahaina, like you see in all these fires, where some people are saying, "Oh, well, why isn't the plastic burning? Why isn't the paper signs burning? But my car just liquefied." Yeah, it has like a microwave effect. But you asked me like my thoughts on it. My thoughts are that it's real. Back then, it was a real thing. The conspiracy theory was whether they use it for stuff they're not supposed to use it for. That's the conspiracy theory. So, I believe in it. I think that they can use it to do weather manipulation, and I'm sure we have a whole lot more to talk about it with, but that's my take on it.
Yeah, and before we get into all that, it is a full moon tonight. I think it peaked at 8:40 something according to my Google. So per NASA, right? But the moon will be closest to Earth for this orbit at 8:57 Eastern Wednesday night.
Yeah.
NASA said that, so it's got to be true, right? So it's a super moon tonight. Is there any astrological significance for tonight's super moon, bro? What are the stars saying?
Well, it's every full moon. There's an Aries full moon every year. Uh, I don't look at full moons like that. Every full moon it's just you could think of it as a high tide in terms of social life, business activity. It's a high tide of human activity in all animals. They're likely to spend more time out around during the night. It's like you get a whole extra day at night. And the full moon it's supposed to just be increased activity. Not good, not bad, not a certain energy. And, the signs that they're in for each of the moon signs, one of the biggest proofs of astrology is that if we're in Libra right now, we can know for sure without ever having to use an instrument or taking any measurements that the full moon will be in Aries and the new moon will be in Libra. So, whatever sign you're in, sun sign, this is the beauty, the connection between the sun and the moon. They're not just random strangers who just happen to be bouncing around a solar system together. Not a solar system. It's our system. It's my system. It's the geocentric system. But still, the sun and the moon, they have this divine rhythm to them. Whatever sign the sun is in, there will be the new moon. Wherever the sun is in, opposite of that sign. Like if you're at a table with 12 people, if you're looking at a clock, if you're at 12, if we're looking at a clock, if you're at 12 o'clock, okay, the new moon will also be 12 o'clock every time, no matter what. Always. The full moon will be opposite the sun sign, meaning if you're at 12 o'clock, what's at 6 o'clock? And that it's called an axis, right? Whoever's right across you from the table. The 12 signs of the zodiac are ingrained in nature. This is invisible architecture. This is like the gears of the sky clock that only us, dare I say, not trying to be exclusive because I invite everyone to come partake, but only astrologers really get a grip on this harmony. We're not looking at anything random in the skies, anything. So for the moon to come back to fulfill this cycle, if we're in Libra, the new moon's in Libra. The full moon is directly across from us in Aries. If it is next month, in 2 weeks from now, it'll be Scorpio. I don't need to know anything about astrology, anything about astronomy, to know that if right now the sun is in Scorpio, which it will be, hypothetically, it's going to be in Scorpio, the new moon will be in Scorpio. The full moon will be in Taurus. Always like this. This is the ultimate proof of astrology. This is the ultimate proof of a divine harmony, balance, and meaning in our solar system. Not that I don't believe in the solar system, but us and our sun and our moon, however you
Around Earth,
our family.
around
Yeah,
planets. It's
yeah.
okay, dude.
But how do I feel on this? I don't feel any specific way about any full moon. But if we're going to look at pop culture, you can look at some of the things they time for full moons, of course. Evil people are going to want to celebrate on a full moon too. And you'll notice we had a big death recently. So credit to your friend Donut.
Shout out Donut.
He brought up a good bit of this, that this full moon was in Aries. It's in Aries right now. So we're in Libra. The new moon for Libra, right, was in Libra. The full moon is opposite in Aries. Aries is opposite Libra. That's actually Adam and Eve, Aries and Libra, right and left, rising and falling, Aries, Libra. So very connected. That's the same axis. Well, the Aries moon, the Aries full moon, if you want to look at that as in a magical context, Aries, if you're looking at the moon and saying, okay, well, what's the flavor? Aries is violent, rambunctious, rambunctious, rampage, foolish, infantile, confident. Aries is lots of good things too, but why am I talking about this? We had a Liam Payne incident last couple days here, yesterday, whatever. He jumped out of a balcony, pushed out of a balcony, something like that. We're gonna figure it out, but
Yikes.
he's an Aries. Sorry, I don't know if he's an Aries.
I'll find it.
He died on a full moon in Aries. Now, why does this matter? He was in Buenos Aires, I believe. Buenos Aires, yep. Spelt the same way, almost. No, not spelled the same way, but still.
August 29th. What's that?
He's a Virgo. That doesn't matter. But Buenos Aires died on a full moon in Aries. And why else does that matter? Well, look at his name. Liam. Li means light. Yes, it's the same root as Libra too, and he died in Libra. But Li means light. Light bringer. Lucifer, Libra. This is Lady Liberty with her torch, right? So Li means light. That can be Aries. That can be Libra. Can be the same. Can be both. But Liam, I am, is the motto of Aries. I am is the motto of Aries. Taurus is I have. Gemini is I think. These aren't just like made up. These are ancient. I am that I am. God says this, ram, sacrificial ram in the Bible. I am that I am. Abraham, ram, Abram. Okay, too schizo on that. But he died in Buenos Aires on a full moon in Aries. And he has the motto for Aries in his first name. Not only that, his last name is Payne. Aries rule Payne.
Yeah, that's wild. But why this guy? Because I saw some videos of him talking about, right, somebody else who's been in the limelight lately. That I don't know what all the baby oil was for, but he started talking about Mr. Diddler, and he was, I guess, involved in the freak offs, and he was talking about
Was he?
DiCaprio being there and a whole bunch of people being there. He was just name dropping names, and it just seems like why him and why this sacrifice, right? That's my question always whenever I see something like this, because I'm learning about this now because I know people have been going crazy over it on social media, right? The schizosphere, I guess you could call it, whatever, where everything is a connection. Everything is, oh, this number is here, this number is there. It's like, but why this dude? Why this guy? And why in this fashion? Like, obviously, I know about mystical toponymy. I know that all these places, the names, the times, the person's astrological alignment, it all matters. But do you have any idea of why they pinged this dude out of all people?
Yeah, I can't say why him, but I will tell you that 7 days ago, only within a week, Harry Styles announced and is getting ready for his 4th album. Now, to me, the biggest part of these sacrifices, whatever you want to call them, if it's orchestrated, would be kind of like you saw with the WWE documentary. You know, all this stuff comes out about Vince McMahon right before the Vince McMahon documentary drops. Oh, okay. All this stuff with um, who else has that happened to? Where someone dies in a band or in a movie right before the movie comes out to push it to the next level, make sure this is a blockbuster. You know, even if people aren't interested in the movie, they're interested in paying respects. You know, Harry Styles might have not had the same attendance for the last album as he did his first album. He's definitely going to have a good attendance on this album, on this tour. You know what I mean? So he rose, you know, head and shoulders above all the other uh, 5 One Direction members, whatever, 1D. And the other guys are pretty much, you know, they're like expendable at this point. And this guy is, his death will serve to promote Harry Styles' new. Here, just look it up. Harry Styles' upcoming album. Within days, this is new news. He's putting out a new album.
It seems like these people are worth more dead than they are alive sometimes.
Yeah.
And I believe that if these people are assets to these cabals, right? Because we know that these people are owned, and by these people I mean the artists. They're owned by their record labels, and those record labels are probably owned by some other entity. And it would be in the best interest to protect their asset. But it happens all the time where the greatest of all artists, Michael Jackson, right? Michael Jackson's one of those. Who's another one that's died that they seem to be bigger. Elvis, like they still got Elvis stuff out here. They're bigger.
Kurt Cobain, John
Kurt
Lennon.
Cobain, yeah, all these guys. So it makes sense that, right, the fourth album. So it's coming out March 2024. This is 6 days ago.
Right. Yeah. They're just kind of teasing this new album that he's got, and I didn't know that at all or care until this whole thing happened. But still, that would be the most overt thing to me. I don't think this has anything to do with the hurricane necessarily, but
well, it fits right into what we were talking about, which I want to get into, which you brought to my attention, I think a few days after the hurricane or something, and I was like, "What are you talking about, bro? This is bizarre. This is crazy." Renowned scientists' ashes dropped into eye of Category 5 Hurricane Milton as last tribute. Now, you haven't read the article. I read the article. Check this out, dude. So, very weird. Now, I'm not a big proponent on HAARP controlling hurricanes. I think that God, the angels, I think nature can do its thing. Can they contribute with technology? Possibly. Right? Can they contribute by doing rituals such as this? And I'm going to call it a ritual, and you'll see why in a second. Rituals to, right? Because you've explained magic to me before, where it's about getting in the state of mind, not necessarily causing or bringing forth a change, but getting yourself into that state of mind to bring forth a change, even if only you believe it yourself and it doesn't really affect reality, right? And so I don't think that the Illuminati is sending the hurricanes out of their foreskin, because again, this has happened for thousands and thousands of years. Did the Illuminati send the flood to Noah when he flooded the world back then? I don't think so. I think, again, it just happens. And maybe, again, they have directed energy weapon technology where they can heat up the ionosphere or the oceans, blah, blah, blah. Maybe. So, as an award-winning scientist, Peter Dodge had made hundreds of flights into the eyes of hurricanes, which I think is pretty sick. Almost 400. On Tuesday, a crew on a reconnaissance. Fucking hell, I can't even say that word, bro.
What is it?
Reconnaissance. Jesus.
Yeah,
reconnaissance. Golly. Flight into Hurricane Milton helped him make one more, dropping his ashes into the storm as a lasting tribute to the longtime National Oceanic an atmospheric administration radar specialist and researcher. It's very touching, Dodge's sister said. Shelley Dodge said in an interview Thursday with the Associated Press, "We knew it was a goal of NOAA to make it happen."
What?
Check this out. The ashes were released into the eye of the hurricane Tuesday night, less than 24 hours before Milton made landfall in Siesta Key near Sarasota, Florida. An in-flight observations log, which charts information such as position and wind speed, ended with a reference to Dodge's 387th and final flight. So he was on the flight with them. Like, they logged it that he was there with them, which is bizarre.
That's weird.
Okay. So here they are, kind of standing around, right? He's loved the aspect of his job, Shelley Dodge said. It's bittersweet. On one hand, a hurricane's coming and you don't want that for people. But on the other hand, I really wanted this to happen. This is where it gets a little weird, right? So Dodge died in March 2023 at age 72 of complications from a fall and a stroke, his sister said, right? The 72 Demons of the Go show, maybe. So Miami resident spent 44 years in federal service. Among his awards were several for technology used to study Hurricane Katrina's destructive winds in 2005. He was also part of the crew aboard a reconnaissance, I got it, flight into Hurricane Hugo in 1989 that experienced severe turbulence and saw one of its 4 engines catch fire. They almost didn't get out of the eye, Shelley said. Items inside the plane were torn loose and tossed about the cabin after dumping excess fuel and some heavy instruments to enable the flight to climb further. An inspection found no major damage to the plane, and it continued on. The plane eventually exited the storm with no injuries to crew members, according to NOAA. A degenerative eye disorder eventually prevented Dodge from going on further reconnaissance flights. Shelley said that NOAA had kept her informed on when her brother's final mission would occur, and she relayed the information to relatives. So I understood this wrong. I thought that this happened when they were trying to dump his ashes into the hurricane.
Right.
That they experienced this, but it was, I guess, during that flight. But here we go. There were various times when they thought all pieces were going to fall in place, but it had to be the right combination, the research flight. All of that had to come together, she said. It finally did on the 8th. I didn't know for sure until they sent me the official printout that showed exactly where it happened in the eye. Dodge had advanced expertise in radar technology with a keen interest in tropical cyclones, according to a March 2023 newsletter by NOAA's Atlantic Oceanographic and Meteorological Laboratory announcing his death. The newsletter said colleagues were saddened by the sudden and tragic loss of one of its longtime meteorologists who died peacefully on March 3rd. So he died on 3/3. Okay. This dude died on 3/3/23 at the age of 72, which, hey, we can get schizo here, bro. We can start connecting dots that perhaps aren't there. So, totally. And this guy, bro, I mean, look at this. He collaborated with the National Hurricane Center and Aircraft Operations Center on airborne and land-based radar research. This dude was in the deep end with this HAARP-ish technology, if you will, right, to read and scan these storms. During hurricane aircraft missions, he served as an onboard radar scientist and conducted radar analysis. Later, he became an expert in radar data processing, the newsletter said. He received a Department of Commerce Bronze Medal, 2 NOAA Administrator Awards, and the Army Corps of Engineers Patriotic Civilian Service Award. Dodge's ashes were contained in a package. Among the symbols draped on it was the flag of Nepal, where he spent time as a Peace Corps volunteer teaching math and science to high school students before becoming a meteorologist. So let's look up the flag of Nepal real quick here to see what that looks like. Isn't that where the
lowest IQ in the world?
I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say, isn't that where Mount Everest is, Nepal? Am I right on that?
Yeah, it's near there. It's on the border of like India, China.
Check this out. So it's got crescent. It's got the crescent on there as well.
Dude, they dropped the star and the crescent into the Gulf of Mexico. Come on, bro. The double triangle. That's also similar to the Scientology logo. Two triangles on top of each other. It's not super close, but that's pretty much where the hurricane landed. Near Clearwater.
This is it? This logo?
That's the Scientology logo, yeah.
I've never seen this, bro.
Yeah.
This looks demonic. It looks like a serpent
Right.
between two triangles,
Right.
which is near Tampa, right? So,
Yeah.
all right. So he had that on there. Let me see here. Hurricane specialist dodges. Blah, blah,
Well,
blah.
here, dude, you said that he died 3/3/2023.
Yes,
So they've been sitting on this guy's ashes for over a year.
for a long time. Because remember, in 2023, we didn't have any major hurricanes, really. I mean, we had a couple, but we didn't have any. And I remember my lawn guy was like, earlier this year, he's like 2024, dude, is it's gonna be big. I was like, big about what? He's like, hurricanes, dude. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge, you know? And I'm like, we've had fine hurricane seasons for the last I don't know how many years. Obviously, we had a couple. I think we had Hurricane Ivan come close. We had a few. We had Ian, but nothing like this coming from the Gulf, Category 5, complete, just a monster of a storm. But yeah, March 3rd, 2023, age of 72, from a fall and a stroke. And they sat on the dude's ashes. They were baking them, I guess, with uh with the HAARP microwave or something. They were sitting on it. And so here's the Michael Lowry guy,
He
hurricane
looked
specialist.
he looked pretty funny. He almost looks like he's wearing a skin suit.
No, the hell is this? Hold on. Well, you looked up the guy, Peter Dodge.
Yeah, he's on my thumbnail. Peter Dodge too. Let's just think about the name. St. Petersburg, Florida. Did the hurricane dodge St. Petersburg and go straight for Siesta Key? Because you have to go through St. Petersburg to hit Tampa Bay. Peter Dodge. The names always mean something, people. Peter Dodge. Peter is the usher into the underworld too. St. Peter. Hope St. Peter don't call my name. St. Peter over there by Tampa Bay is the sinkhole capital of the world. A little
Isn't he
north.
the one that started the Vatican too? Isn't he the rock? Isn't he the first pope?
Yeah. Well, yes. Peter was the first pope, and Peter said to me in rock, like Petro, like Petra, petrified.
And Peter also means, you're Peter, right?
Yep. Show me that Peter.
And they put it into the eye of the hurricane.
Yes. Oh, you want to go? You want to see something real schizo? Pinellas County.
We're already here, bro.
Yeah, for real, we are. Real deep. How am I gonna find this?
Look at this. Look at the logs. Boom. Peter Dodge, 387th penny. What a way to go out in a cyclone and one of the strongest storms ever recorded.
Yeah, dude, I don't get. It just seems irreverent to me. Like no one in their right mind just said, "Hey, when I die, I want you to chuck me out of a airplane into a storm." There's just no way.
Longo,
Yeah.
when I die, I want you to dump my ashes from the International Space Station, dude. And I want to
Okay.
orbit the world, one last time before I go out.
Oh yeah.
So you guys heard it here first. Those are my wishes when I pass on.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna have you cast into your ashes, cast into some type of sex toy.
No, don't do that. That's
then
disgusting.
I'll,
I
then
will
I'll,
haunt you for the rest of your life, bro.
no, you'll haunt whoever gets the artifact.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on cremation? Is that bad? Does the Bible say anything about cremation? Is it bad for the soul? Like,
I
what
mean,
happens?
it's hard to say. It tells you a lot about a culture, whether they decide to bury their dead or burn their dead. According to the Bach Saga, one of the explanations given as to why human fossils just kind of show up like 200,000 years ago. I don't believe in evolution, But how can I explain that human fossils appear to show up out of nowhere 200,000 years ago, right? Now, most evolutionists would say, oh, well, look, there's no human fossils, and then suddenly there's human fossils. Must have evolved from some monkey or something. Well, the Bach saga tells that originally humans all cremated each other, and that this is why you don't see human bones all over. When you go far enough back into the archaeological record, there's little to no human bones. So that's one of the explanations given as to how to counter evolution, is saying, well, humans always used to cremate. Humans were so responsible back then in the Golden Age, the Garden of Eden, whatever you want to call it, that they didn't want the future to look like a graveyard. How selfish. Oh, my bones are so important that I want people to trip over them for ages and ages. You see that places like New Orleans, they are committing grave fraud. They're grinding bodies up and putting multiple bodies into a single plot. They're
Whoa.
they're powdering the bones up and putting them into a single plot because there's no room for bodies. There's no room left for bodies in New Orleans. It's all taken. When they have hurricanes, they have caskets come up to the surface. They're so over, caskets start,
Yeah.
swimming away. They're so piled up there that they're looking at, man, we really, we should start kind of promoting cremation instead of burying. So I know that there's instances in the Bible that prohibit uh, burning, burning of bodies. Not entirely, but there are verses that prohibit the burning of bodies. You can't have the whole earth behaving that way because then it will look like a graveyard. Then it will look like a boneyard. So
Mhm.
I think that there's nothing wrong with burning. I don't think God or Jesus will be angry for burning. I think it needs to be done right because you really are removing all evidence. So you got to make sure all those affairs are settled before you remove all the evidence that a person ever even existed. But my dad got cremated, so I don't think it's bad. I'd rather I actually kind of like the idea of having him cremated instead of having, oh my god, like his bones on the other side of town. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I have to go leave flowers and shit. It's I don't think that's where humans should be paying their respects to the site of death. I think it's a good thing to do if you want to, but
That's something I've always thought about. Go right in Florida where they're overdeveloping. We know this. They're digging up land everywhere. And I saw somebody commented that they saw a what the hell is it? They saw a video of a casket going for surf in Appalachia. Is that Appalachia, Florida? Is that a place in Florida, right? Sounds familiar.
well, Appalachia is the whole region, like the southeast United States. The mountain range, Blue Ridge Mountains, Appalachian Mountains, Blue Ridge, Smoky Mountains. That's Appalachia. Appalachia is like the East Carolinas.
He said he's gonna send me the video on Discord. Yeah, send the video forth because I want to see that. But speaking of Nepal, right? This guy went to Nepal. I had remembered I read somewhere that they do sky burials, and what they do is they put your body at the top of this mountain, and usually vultures come down and they feed on your bones and they pick away all the meat on your bones, and they take your bones and obviously do other stuff with it. But this guy opted out for that, and he went out the in the eye of the hurricane. Isn't that a storm? Here
Hmm.
I am, dun, dun, rock me like a hurricane. Is that how it goes?
Yeah, the Scorpions,
Yeah. So
German band, something like that.
what else do you have to this? What are your thoughts on this? Is this a sort of ritual again,
Yeah.
offering up this person who had some significance, right? We already
Yes.
decoded his death a little bit, the dates, his name a little bit. It felt like it was an offering
Yes.
to I have some information on the origins of the hurricane, which comes from a Taino word, huracán. And I know you and I
Yeah.
did the almost 4-hour long presentation a while back on Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
But what else do you have to say on this hurricane ash sprinkling it?
Well, the whole thing with people cremating hundreds of thousands of years ago was the idea that your soul, right, the light, the soul, the solar light that's trapped in the body, not in a Gnostic way, like, it's all where it's supposed to be. But light is enclosed in matter. And the idea is that when you die, kind of maybe a Gnostic approach, a Gnostic perspective would be the light needs to be properly returned to the light that it came from. You know what I mean? You can't just kind of let it hit the ground and be like, all right, the soul's going to make it back where it's supposed to. This is kind of like where the Book of the Dead and stuff comes in. The art of dying,
Instructions, yeah.
the art of returning that soul back to where it belongs, right? Not just leaving it where the body died. So the soul, one of the ideas about cremation is that you're freeing every single bit of the light. That even in the bones, even in whatever's left over months later, you still have um, particles of light or a piece of soul in the body. And cremation frees that entirely. So back then, according to the Bach saga and stuff, they say that back then they used to bring your ashes back to your family tree and bury you under the family tree. Now, we don't really have any family trees anymore. That's where the word family tree comes from, too. You'd have your ash buried under the family tree. In Northern Europe, this was typically a ash tree, right? An ash tree. You'd bury the ash under, and then they actually used to make tea with the leaves of the tree that their ancestors were buried under. The ashes were put under. And the goal of that was to keep the soul power within the family, was to keep it recirculated, recycle, no lost wisdom, no lost chi, no lost vril, no lost, keep it within the family. And whatever that was in its truest, purest form, it seems like this that NOAA is doing is a 100% corruption of that idea. Instead of returning the ashes with reverence back to where they belong, they're just kind of fucking like a fucking pizza chef just flinging dough out of, up in the sky. Like, come on, man. So, ash, what are they trying to do with this soul energy? Personally, I bring up the Bach saga. Bach saga has to do with Finland. What does this have to do with this? Well, let's look at the words. Sarasota is a mysterious word. That's where the hurricane said to have landed. Siesta Key is just a beach of Sarasota. But Sarasota is a Finnish word that shows up in Florida very mysteriously. It's two Finnish words put together. They don't know where the word comes from. That's where the hurricane landed. Well, the Bach saga is a Finnish story. Bach Tower is not very far from there, too, is it? Bach saga, the story of the ash and the family trees and, this ancient Viking wisdom, language, yoga, all this contained in the Bach saga. The Bach saga says that, oh shit.
It's related because, right, the Bach saga talks
Yeah.
about the Gulf Stream, right? And this is what was
Yes.
feeding that hurricane, and specifically when it got in that pocket of warm air from
Yes.
that stream. And I'm reading
Yeah.
here, the name may come from Finnish phrase Suru Sota, means morning of war. So they're
Yes.
mourning war.
Yep. Aries,
Right.
war.
Yeah.
Aries means war in Finnish. Or sorry, Sota means war in Finnish. So this is all kind of linking up here. And Noah, the Bach saga, gives an interpretation of the Noah story as well. But one of the main words in the Bach saga that almost the whole story is constructed out of is hell with a single L. And the Bach saga claims to know why. It purports to explain, or it claims to know why and explains how all these places around the world have the word hell in them. How did hell become hell? You know what I mean? Why is hell uh, a good word in so many languages, cultures? Hellenic, Helvetic, Helsinki, right? Helios. Um,
Helene.
bingo. This is going to blow your mind, Juan.
Do it.
Hell is the opposite of paradise, right? Helene, hell, Helios, Hellenic, whatever. Well, Milton, the next hurricane right after Helene, has to do with John Milton, Paradise Lost. In my eyes, this hurricane went barreling towards paradise. That's how my brother
Oof.
came. My brother came up with that. Paradise Lost. John Milton's. Yeah, and that this you have Helene representing hell, and the ash system, the soul sacrificial soul family tree connection, and then hell, Milton, Eden, paradise. Hell is hell. And by the way, the Bach saga says that hell was paradise. The Christians turned it into hell. So they're actually kind of talking about the same thing. Milton being a reference to John Milton, Paradise Lost. Helene being a reference to all hell words coming out of Finland. Hellenic, Helvetic, Helios, healing in general. All these hell words. Well, if there was nothing to do with ashes, those words would have nothing to do with each other. That hurricane and this hurricane would have nothing to do with each other, except for the fact that they're hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they launched this ash magic ritual, that they seeded one of these hurricanes with ash, human ash, this opens up a whole nother insidious dimension to this thing. And it does give us the license to start going down these schizo rabbit holes. Because, hang on, you just dropped human ash? You just dropped human ash into a storm?
And I think it's the only one because I looked up here. Have they ever done that before? And this marks the first known instance of someone's ashes being scattered within a hurricane.
Yeah.
So it might be the first, right? Peter being the first pope, founding the Vatican, the Rock, right? And then the first instance of this dude who died on 3/3, the age of 72, very goetic there, Goetia, the 72
Yes.
demons of Solomon, and also the fact that David used the harp to cast out demons and heal people. He was a profound harpist, I guess you could call him.
Mm-hmm.
So they've taken, and this is going to be right de-occulting this a little bit. They've taken something that's been known as sacred, because the harp also shows up in Revelation, right? To sing songs. So does the trumpet. The trumpet is, what they use to open the seals up, et cetera, et cetera. But the harp being used to cast out demons, and now you have this organization, HAARP, that is at the forefront in the face of allegedly creating this destruction with the name, right?
Yes.
Inversion.
100%. And also, it's not explicitly said in the Bible. It's kind of more of a superstition or a folklore. But the idea that Lucifer, who's not necessarily the same as Satan, but still, we can class them both under the umbrella term of devil, right? Devils, maybe Lucifer, maybe Satan. We can have a whole conversation on its own about that. But the fact that Lucifer is said to be um, the angel
Fo-
of music,
Founder of music,
and
yeah.
yeah, maybe even creator of all music, and Lucifer is identified with Libra, the zodiac sign of Libra, like we were talking about, right? Well, Libra comes from the word lyra, a lyre, which is like a little lap harp. So the lyre with a Y, Lyre, that is the where we get lyre, lyra, Libra, and then Lucifer, the musical one. And so that's a harp. It's a lap harp, but it's still a type of harp. And this is what you could say, Lucifer's instrument of choice was the lap harp, the lyre. Why is it called a lyre? To harp, to harp on about something, to whisper sweet nothings into someone's ear, to deceive them, to lie. A lyre means you're playing a sweet tune to someone's ear, like the devil would, but there's nothing true about it, right? The lyre, the to be to be seduced by sweet noises and sweet sounds, and that's the lyre, the harp.
And also in Celtic mythology, the harp was also used for um, the opening of portals into the fairy realm as
Oh
well.
wow, yeah.
So you literally have this instrument that is used to open up portals to other realms. You have have you ever heard of the devil's chord?
Yes, the devil's tritone. It's
The devil's tritone? Yes,
yeah,
yes.
the interval. Na, 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 na,
So
that's it. Black
I
Sabbath.
came up with an idea, right? Because last time we talked about global warming, right? And I know global is going to set some people off, but what if, how Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. What if it's not global warming, but instead global honing, right? Where they're honing in on these frequencies, these vibrations, and all these things to bring forth, in my opinion, chaos. I think this is what they're doing over at CERN and stuff like that, where they're trying to tap into
Hmm.
these other realities and whatever gushes forth from that. Hey, if they die, they die, right? I mean, whatever happens. And harp, and I came across this in an aeolian harp, and these are wind harps that
Oh wow.
are as big as 6 meters in height. Our recent history number exceeding 6 meters have been constructed. And Aeolian harps of this size are normally made from steel. So they have various ones of this. And check out harp and check out this harp. I mean, it's kind of, again, schizo, but it's looking very, very similar.
Yeah,
So
that's
go ahead.
totally. Right now, I'm trying to think or trying to search. Like, is there an instance in mythology where someone uses a harp to control the weather? Sounds like something Pythagoras would be associated with. Pythagoras and Plato, because of Pythagoras' teachings, said that Plato thought that certain scales and chords should be outlawed because they inspired
Yes.
poor character in
Yes.
people. Pythagoras were known. We know that Pythagoras probably took it even to a further degree than that. He was so obsessed with music. I'm sure you know
Mhm.
Pythagoras was said to be able to hear the music of the spheres.
Yes.
He was able to listen to it, right? Like hear the hum, hear the ticking, the rhythm behind it or something. But to think that Pythagoras thought that certain notes could cure diseases, that certain notes could cure certain harmonies could cure diseases and all this stuff. So I would almost guarantee Pythagoras had some teaching on controlling the weather with music. Definitely. He believed you could control almost every other area of life through sympathetic magic with music. using music.
I know we talked about this on the last episode, but I wanted to bring because you touched on something I wanted to bring up, right? So we have and now looking at this, this
Whoa.
kind of looks like a harp. Okay.
What?
This is the sigil of Bartzabel or Raphael. And now Bartzabel was
Well,
the
dude, that's the fucking flag of
of Nepal.
Nepal that we were just
Oh
looking
my
at.
God. Oh my God. Okay, so all right, listen, dude, listen. Hold on. Don't go full schizo on me, okay? This is the sigil, right? Because you're talking about using magic to control the weather. And I believe there was a story of Zeus that would play the harp or the lyre, and he played it so much he drove the other gods insane. He drove them mad from playing the lyre so much because it soothed him.
Yeah.
And I mentioned about the instance of Jack Parsons using of Goetia or a demon to bring forth a storm. Now the pages are 151, 152, and it's interesting because I was reading the Babylon working ritual that he was doing, and one of the things that happened was a large windstorm. So let me look this up here real quick. So so storm. So right here, so the possibility of drug enhanced work can continue on the evening of January 5th when Parsons noted a strong windstorm beginning and suddenly about the middle of the first invocation. So you have Parsons and,
Dang.
and L. Ron Hubbard. They're essentially what they're doing is they're jerking off in the desert together.
Yep.
L. Ron Hubbard's the scribe. Parsons is the dude charging the parchment and all that, and to doing magical masturbation and all this other stuff. But they're noticing a windstorm. On January 6th, Parsons continued the invocation, which means he ran through the entire rite twice. The windstorm also continued on the January 7th, right? So we have January 6th, which we know what happened on, right?
Yeah.
History repeats itself, right? The windstorm continued. He invoked twice more and the wind subsided. Now, on January 11th, invoked twice using blood. So we have these people dropping human remains into the eye of the storm right before it hits landfall, as if the blood it's going to take already isn't enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And on the 12th, invoked twice in a heavy windstorm. The invocations in the windstorm both continued on the 13th. Now, the story that I was talking about last time was of when, here we go, Bartzabel, where he wrote about invoking. So he finds out that L. Ron Hubbard stole his wife and his boat, right? All his money that he had invested because they bought some yachts together.
Yeah.
And he went ahead and he invoked the Mars spirit of Bartzabel. And allegedly, right, the Bartzabel had a little help from the U.S. Coast Guard, who rescued and detained the pair. Betty later described her and Hubbard's situation during the storm as desperate, relating that the two were very scared that they would not make it back to the shore because apparently Parsons in a rage drew a circle. I'm trying to find the part here where he says it. He drew a circle and invoked the spirit of Mars, which I know you had said that you would rather invoke Poseidon or something, but here I am in Miami pursuing the children of my folly. Hubbard attempted to escape me by sailing at 5 p.m. I perform a full invocation to Bartzabel, a form of Mars, within the circle at 8 p.m. At the same time, so far as I can check, his ship was struck by a sudden squall off the coast, which ripped off his sails and forced him back to the port when I took the boat in custody. I have them well tied up. They cannot move without going to jail. However, I'm afraid that most of the money has already been dissipated. I will be lucky to salvage $3,000 to $5,000. In the interim, I have been flat broke. I believe he was writing to Crowley on May 22nd. Yeah. Crowley wired to Germer, suspect Ron playing. He was writing to somebody there or in his journal, but then the sigil looks like this. You brought up that it looks like
The flag of Nepal.
the flag of Nepal, dude. What in the world? So let's
That's
put
the
this here.
it's the flag of nipple. That's what that thing
The,
is.
the flag of nipples. Yeah. So here you go.
Well,
I think.
here, you know,
Right?
the St. Petersburg, Clearwater, where the Scientology headquarters is right next to St. Petersburg.
Oof.
And I forgot what else I was going to say, but the main thing that we left out with the ash ceremony. Where did all this fucking damage happen? What was the one place they got fucking destroyed that everyone got, a lot of people got messed up, but everyone's saying, pray for this place, pray for this place. What's this one place that we're all praying for that got terrorized by
Asheville
Helene? Bingo. Ashes,
to ashes.
Asheville. Asheville. You can't ignore that. You can't deny that. They did this big Illuminati magic ceremony. They dropped this guy's ashes into the eye of the storm. Well, Asheville got hit the hardest, so they say. Ash. I mean, and by the way, dude, you know what's fucking crazy? You know what? And the Finnish word for war, soda, that's like a substitute word. They don't have a word for war in the original Finnish language. Do you know what word they use instead?
What?
Ash. Ash.
Really?
Yes, swear to God. They use a word for ash for war.
Yikes.
Mars, Aries, ash. Aries rules fire too and burning things up into ash. But
Mars is war, right?
yep, Mars is the god of war.
Is red blood?
Red, blood, iron, ram, the ram, animal.
And the guy's name, like the guy's last name is Dodge Ram.
Dude, that's a really good one.
That's a good one, right? See, I
That's a
told
really
you
good one.
we can go off the deep end, bro. I don't care. I'm just it just
Damn.
I really, some conspiracies are retarded. I think a lot of conspiracies are, but it just, when you look at the evidence now, this is my thing with all this. And I came up with an idea of like, why does the gematria equal this? And why does this happen? And why is this person 3-3 Illuminati confirmed, all this other stuff? And I believe that, right, time itself, because there are so many coincidences that happen, if you want to call it a synchronicity or you want to call it whatever. I think that time itself is a living organism. I think it's a living entity that it breathes, it breathes and it conforms to certain pockets of reality. And I think that's what synchronicities could be, of like, hey, this fit this piece that
Bro.
one time.
Bro.
What?
Are you ready? You
Do
ready
it.
for another fucking hammer of the gods coming
Do it.
down? If you had to guess, I just looked it up. What is the primary method of burial for Scientologists?
Cremation.
Yep.
Was our boy Dodge a Scientologist?
Dude, I don't know, but that was right there. Goddamn, man.
Hold on, let's look this guy up.
See if he is. We got to talk about NOAA from now on.
Peter Dodge.
Yeah.
Was he a Scientologist? Hold on.
Doesn't matter if he is.
I'm not seeing anything Scientology, but
Someone said, someone in the comments is a good one. Royal Arch Masonry, RAM. That's a good one.
Royal Ram. There you go. Yeah, RAM. So I'm not seeing anything here with.
Oh, here's another good. This one's kind of a stretch. But RAM is like a computer word, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have all this. If all this magic is happening, it was for that quartz sand over in North Carolina, which is used for semiconductors. All this technology stuff. I think that in Siesta Key, they wanted. There's no There's no industry using the sand and quartz in Siesta Key. This might be their opportunity to harvest quartz from Siesta Key.
So, were you gonna share the footage that you took, bro? Do you have that?
Yeah, we can watch a little bit. But we got to talk about NOAA at some point too, because NOAA's its whole fucking. By the
So,
way, Peter Dodge is a NOAA scientist, guys. By the way,
yes.
NOAA is the company that keeps track of weather events and does all the hurricane monitoring and stuff. NOAA.
Here, let me do this real quick, and then I wanted to. I had a tangent planned, but it's up to you if you want to go on it. It's about
Do it.
giants and Jews. You want to hear about it?
Well, hang on, man. Okay, every fucking video we've done, the last 3 videos we've done, and the one I did with Shem, all fucking demonetized. So
Real okay. No, it's not. It's nothing bad. It's
can
quick. It's quick. It's quick. I promise. It's not gonna do. It's on my channel too, bro.
say Brazilian.
All right, Brazilian. Okay, so we had done that 3 hours and 51-minute presentation. Check that, guys. Check that out. Awesome presentation because I presented. We talked about the Tainos and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
The Zami Guaban sex is the Zami or deity of chaos and disorder in the Taino mythology and religion,
Right.
which was practiced by the Taino people in Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, Jamaica, and Cuba, as well as the Arawak natives elsewhere in the Caribbean. She was described as a mercurial goddess that controlled weather, conjuring storms known as huracan when displeased. The latter term was used to name the climatological phenomenon that is now known as a hurricane in the Western Hemisphere. So it's an Arawak word that comes from the Taino people of a god. So whenever we say hurricane, we are essentially giving some nod to Guaban Sex here, which is a Zemi or deity of chaos and disorder in Taino mythology. The Tainos were aware of the spiraling wind pattern of hurricanes, a knowledge that they use when depicting the deity, and she's depicted as like with hands, right? Her Zemi idol was said to depict a woman, but most common depictions of Guaban sex presents a furious face with arms extended. So, go ahead.
No, sorry. You go. Keep going.
The word made it into William Shakespeare's King Lear. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah, okay. King Lear.
Yeah, Lear means to read. Okay, Libra means to read. Libra, book. Libra. Well, I was gonna cut in earlier. You're saying, oh fuck, what has to do with Libra?
Chaos.
Courts. Libra rules the courts system, legal system, law. But the double meaning in that phonetic word, quartz crystal, the Q, courts, the law going into the courts. What's the common thread? Libra means clear, like looking through, like a looking glass. That's another meaning for the word. Lucifer, like to look, blah blah blah. Libra rules clear crystals, especially quartz. Quartz. When did they come after the quartz? In the season of Libra. It's October. We're in Libra. This month is Libra. The end of September to the end of October is Libra. So it makes sense they'd be doing this whole quartz grab during Libra. But you just brought up, and Aries and Libra are opposite. These are kind of like brother, sister, Adam and Eve, kind of quarreling right, left throughout the whole Bible. But you had something else up on screen there. But
by the way, Shakespeare died on my birthday, April 23rd. So I thought that was cool.
Right. Well, keep going.
So King Lear, they say that it ends and goes into the Tempest, which is a very interesting play by Shakespeare. It's one of his, I believe, one of the last plays that he wrote by himself, and it's essentially about you have a wizard who conjures up a storm to bring.
No way.
Yeah, dude, he brings in not Prospero. Anyways, the wizard in the Tempest, it might be Prospero. Anyways, he brings in because his brother was stole the duke position from him in the ship, etc., etc. He uses magic. He's a wizard, a magician, uses magic and conjures up a storm to bring the ship in. And when he brings the ship into shore, everyone is split away. And the term "a brave new world" comes from the Tempest. And the concept of the Tempest, which is really interesting, it's about a lot of things. People have interpreted in many different ways, but one of the ways that it's interpreted is about the controlling of a population. And in my opinion, it's about the controlling of a population through the occult. He splits everybody up. Everyone else thinks all the other people are dead when they're really not. And he's presenting different scenarios to each and every single one of them until some of them conspire against I think Prospero is the guy's name, the wizard, right? And there's ideas that John Dee helped write the Tempest. Tempest, has 10 letters, I believe, or something like that. And it was like number 10 was John Dee's favorite number. Anyways, I have a whole presentation I haven't done, but point being that it's about controlling a group of people through the use of the occult. And literally at the beginning, the ending of King Lear ends with a storm, and Tempest picks up right in the middle of a storm. They're in a boat, and they have a whole dialogue, and they're about to crash into the island. So now, this is more of the mythology, but while I was looking into this, I stumbled across something, right? Because the peak of El Yunque in Puerto Rico was said to be the throne of Yucahu, which is this essentially a giant. Now, in Puerto Rico and how in various other places, there is the concepts of like petrified giants, like, oh, this mountain looks like a giant laying on his side.
Right.
So I stumbled across El Gigante Dormido, so it's Spanish for the sleeping giant. It's a mountain, and we should go to Puerto Rico, bro. We should do a video in Puerto Rico. We should go to Puerto Rico and visit all these sites. We should climb El Yunque. We should go into the rainforest. We should take video. We should do a whole thing there. So
I'm down.
One of the highest peaks is the sleeping giant. They say at certain angles, this looks like the face of a giant. This is not part of El Yunque, but the Yunque has, again, the throne of the chief god Yucahu, right? Which is, again, equivalent to Mount Olympus in Greek mythology. And then we have this guy, Carolina, is called the land of giants. And it's in honor of this guy who was 7'11", Don Felipe Biriel. He was the tallest man in Puerto Rican history. And so the whole entire town that he comes from is called the land of the giants. Now, keep in mind this, Adjuntas, Puerto Rico, right? Adjuntas, Puerto Rico. I'd never heard of this place, right, until today. There's so many different places in Puerto Rico, right? So many. Turns out, right, because you covered Christopher Columbus being a Jew on the last Brazilian. It turns out, right, so the giant Dormido, the sleeping giant, it's the legend. A witch fires a poison arrow at the giant. He falls over, becomes petrified. Adjuntas was one of the main cities where Anusim, Moranos, and other Sephardi Brazilians settled in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
It was a hub for the Brazilians in Puerto Rico. Now
when you say Brazilian and Puerto Rican, it sounds too confusing. Just say Jewish.
That word right there.
Yeah.
And I forgot where this is in Puerto Rico, but apparently this is bigger than the Statue of Liberty. It is a statue of Christopher Columbus. Damn. That's 350 feet tall and weighs something like, I don't know how many tons. I saw it, but it survived the hurricane. People were hoping that it would get blown over, but it didn't. And the fact that it's bigger than the Statue of Liberty is pretty impressive. And I had no idea this was there. So that's why I was like, man, we should probably go and do a Puerto Rico video, dude.
I'm down, man.
That'd be sick.
Always down. I think we should do Bahamas first. It's a little closer. Do Bimini
No,
first.
well, I got a place to stay in Puerto Rico, so we won't have to pay
Oh yeah.
uh, uh lodging or a room or anything like that. So we could hit there first,
Can't
and
wait. What's it?
then
A
maybe
fucking shed with a net and a couple coconuts?
no, no, dude. I got
Fucking refrigerator tipped over on its side,
no. Come on, bro. Don't disrespect me like that, dude. And for that, you're sleeping with the dogs. You're gonna sleep in the with the dogs outside.
like the president of Puerto Rico.
He no, well,
I guess that would be Kamala.
no, no. Yeah, don't ever say that. But the, anyways, this was the little tangent that I came across of the Jews in or the Brazilians in Puerto Rico, and then the Giants. So, anyways, we can move on to Noah now.
No, that's good, man. For real. The Christopher Columbus. We just had Columbus Day in between, kind of in the middle of all these storms. CC
Yes.
3333 zip code. You know, Christopher Columbus, Mr. Dodge passing away on 332. Florida's birthday.
Florida's
So,
birthday, yes, on 3/3. Yeah, he died on Florida's birthday, didn't he?
yeah.
Florida Foundation date.
And Jupiter is the planet that rules Pisces. If you want to go real schizo, you know, Peter is Pisces. Pisces is Peter. It's the last disciple, first pope after Jesus. Pisces,
Oh my
but
god. All right.
fish. But here, let's talk about Scientology for a sec too, because Sarasota is where it hit. It hit Siesta Key, but a little north of there. In order to get to Tampa Bay, you either go, you know, under the bridge through the water, you know, into the bay, or you cross the bridge. Right. Well, on a boat, you can sail into the bay. On a car, you have to cross Tampa Bay, and you go to St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg is like the coastal portion of Tampa Bay. Well, St. Petersburg, a little north of St. Petersburg, is Clearwater. Clearwater is where Scientology headquarters is. So the hurricane did not miss Clearwater by too much. Clearwater, we're told that Clearwater had its name before Scientologists moved there. But as one of the commenters pointed out, I already saw, clear is kind of like, it's like the favorite word of Scientology. Going clear. Are you clear? I'm clear. You know, have you met a clear yet? You ever met a clear? This is how they talk, you know. It's kind of like the highest degree of Scientology is going clear, meaning you're clean, you're pure. You know, you have clean, undisturbed, unobstructed vision. You know, clarity to go clear. So Clearwater was you know, they didn't come up with that. They chose Clearwater. Maybe the name had a lot to do with it. But when you go to Clearwater, Scientology owns the whole city. This is they call it the spiritual headquarters of planet Earth. Clearwater, Florida. They call it.
Really?
Swear to God, look it up. Spiritual headquarters. And that is like their Mecca. They used to call it Mecca until 9/11 happened. And then it's like, you know, Muslim,
Yeah.
it's not too inviting anymore. But they used to nickname it Mecca, the Mecca of America, the Mecca of Scientology, the Mecca, Clearwater, Florida. It's like some town most people never heard of. Clearwater, Florida is also signed up to be a, I don't know if it's a 15-minute city, but a smart city.
Mm-hmm.
Clearwater and Sarasota both are one of the first cities in Florida or America to say, we want to be a smart city. So you have that whole part of this going on. Also, Juan, you and I, before we go to Puerto Rico or something, you got to help me make a Scientology documentary.
We're gonna get canceled if we do that, bro. We're gonna get
No, we'll be fine.
You
We'll be
sure?
fine.
What are
Yeah,
you
we'll
going to
be
talk
fine.
about?
Mostly like the stuff leading up to Scientology. Most people talk about like the offenses of the church. I don't care what the church is like. I don't care about
The
the
cult. Yeah.
corrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about the corruption and the brainwashing tactics, whatever. That's like it's like religion 101. You know, who cares? But the lead up to them becoming Scientology and why they chose Clearwater, that's what I want to make the documentary about. Is, of course, why Florida, and then all the esotericism that went into it before it got
Well,
punctualized as Scientology.
we're going to have, just be ready. We're probably going to have a couple of web pages, websites. They'll probably make one. Longo is fakeandgay.com or
Oh
.org.
yeah.
And they're probably going to slander you on there. And they'll probably make one for me too. I don't know what name they would use, but just be ready for that. But I'm down. Maybe, dude, maybe they were up in Clearwater, St. Pete, wherever they are, and they were doing some of that L. Ron Hubbard Enochian magic. And if you look at the Scientology logo, it kind of looks like that sigil, dude. The
Yeah.
Scientology logo, it's
Well,
got
it's
that double.
totally. It's got it's like a deconstructed Merkaba. It's like a deconstructed Star of David. The two triangles, right?
Boom, right there.
Yep. It's very very close.
Yikes.
I think the J is actually supposed to be an anchor. I could be wrong, but it's an S for Scientology, but it's
There's a
similar to how some anchors used to look.
there's a J in here.
It's an S. Sorry, S for Scientology,
Okay, yeah.
but it looks like a J, a little bit like a saxophone.
Yeah.
But
Sure,
here,
it's just a coincidence.
nonetheless, let's
Let's talk about NOAA. I pulled
sure,
up some footage of the destruction in St. Pete and the surrounding areas, and I know you had some stuff too. I don't know if you uploaded it or anything, but
I can't share on here.
what is it?
I got all the video.
You should be able to. Let me see here. So if you press that, let me stop sharing my screen. If you press that, I gave you permission to control any presentation, and you can go to the plus sign and there's video storage. You can upload it on there, and then I can pull it up. Got the plus sign there at the bottom. You
I
can use that,
have to go to my settings.
or you can play it on your screen, then share your screen. I can pull that up, whichever you like.
I gotta change it in my settings. Give me 1 second. Just talk.
So yeah, no, I got this footage pulled up, and also I wanted to mention that at the same time while Milton was happening, there was a fire, I believe, in Wyoming. And the meteorologists were saying that Milton was so big that it actually sucked up some of the smoke that was happening from these wildfires and was just kind of recycling it over again, right? So you got fire, you have Asheville, they're dumping the dude's ashes into the eye of the storm. So it's just very bizarre, all of it. Now, I'm not saying again that if could they influence it? Hey, maybe, dude. Any anything is possible. I literally talk about homunculus, talk about little artificially created entities through alchemy. So anything, in my opinion, is possible. Whatever we're seeing on the outside is, we know about the certain type of weapons that they have. I don't know if the D word will get us flagged or not, but we have Biden slipping up and saying, they got the wrong color roof. One of
Right.
his speeches, they colored it the wrong color. It's like, what? That's a Freudian slip. Like you're telling the truth. He's a liar, right? The liar. He's rhetoric. He's playing the liar there. So
Yeah, totally. Well, NOAA. Let's get into the NOAA thing. I believe the video you're just watching right there of the waves going up and down. I believe that's an official NOAA, like wave watcher. Like ocean meter or something. I believe that's a NOAA instrument that's taking that video. NOAA. But for those who don't know, like I said earlier, NOAA is the NOAA. NOAA is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Okay. Now, what do you have to administer? What are they administering into the ocean and the atmosphere, right? What is there to administer? Are there filing cabinets up there that, or there's nothing to do. This is a made up uh, organization that does nothing
It's like the
except
Space Force.
kind of that basically they don't do anything. They were founded in October 2, by the way, October 3rd, founded by Richard Nixon. And NOAA, they're the people who give us the information on hurricanes and stuff. Oh, Juan, you brought up
You know what their
a,
budget is, bro? Oh,
what?
in 2022, 6.9 billion.
Well, you're,
A
you you're talking about the native origins of the word hurricane,
mm-hmm.
and you're probably right. What do they call it? Huaraca? How do you say it?
Huracan, yeah.
Huracan. Well,
Yeah.
they also think that it might have to do with in Tampa Bay. The I told the story about the native princess, the Indian
Mm-hmm.
princess, who may or may not have had a romance with a European, and that might be the start of the hurricane blessing myth. But the name of the chief, the big bad chief who was in charge, whose daughter was kind of like the Pocahontas rescuing this guy, and the love interest of the story. His name was Hirahigwa. Hirahigwa, and that name might have meant hurricane.
Mm.
And they also think that maybe the title of chief meant hurricane too. Um, in Florida, they said, what's the word that they said? Cacique.
Cacique, yeah.
Cacique doesn't mean hurricane, but another word that they used, which was also in the Caribbean and South America, was curaca. 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 Curaca, which is very close to the name you're just saying. Uh, Huaraca. How do you say it?
Uh, uh, yeah, yeah, Yukahu was the name of the deity
No.
on
No, you just said it a different way.
the. It was
Whatever.
a G word. Anyways, yeah, yeah.
But Hirahigua might be another hurricane. Hirahigua. The names are close. And that's also where you find Tampa, to tamp a bowl, to pack a tobacco pipe. Tampa. So there's other words that came out of Tampa Bay too. It could have come out of Puerto Rico too. Who knows?
Does NOAA? Who names hurricanes? Is it NOAA as well? Who names hurricanes? Because, right? So, the World Meteorological Organization names hurricanes and tropical storms. The WMO is the United Nations agency that has been responsible for naming hurricanes since the 1950s.
Yeah. Well, NOAA, NOWA, NOAA, sorry, NOAA, NOAA, having to do with weather, especially water, monitoring the water, the air, the seas, the storms. This is a subtle, occult kind of tip of the hat to Noah. Noah from the Bible, from the Old Testament,
Who
Book of
was an
Genesis.
alchemist? Yep.
Book of Genesis, Noah. Well, there's something to that. Noah is a similar root to where you know something. Gnostic, right? Gnosticism, gnosis.
I know a guy.
You can link that to the name Noah and water being blah blah blah, memory being contained in the water and things like that. But Noah with the NOAA. Can you please bring up the logo for NOAA, please? The NOAA logo is, when you turn it upside down, Let's just take one of those and flip it upside down, please. Thank you. Yeah. So that's the NOAA logo. Now we just flipped it upside down. And shout out to Spencer from Florida. He's the first person who pointed this out to me. But when we flip the NOAA logo, what you see is something that looks like a boat on top of a big wave. A big boat on a big wave.
Or a
You
mountain.
see that? Or a mountain. Thank you. You're right. You're exactly right. It's probably the mountain. It's probably a snow-covered mountain. It kind of looks like.
Yeah.
But you could also interpret it as it's at the top of a wave. The waves just lifted it up on top of a mountain. A tsunami, right? Exactly. So Noah's Ark on top of the mountain. What are they trying to tell us here? We know why they use the rainbow flag to mock God and the flood for the movement that probably pisses God off the most, the LGBT movement. They use the rainbow to kind of mock God, to say, oh, you wiped the earth of our sin, but we're still here. We're still committing that sin. Na boo boo, right? That's kind of like rotten little spoiled brats looking up at God, saying, huh? You know that F, that F I got on my report card. Well, guess what? I got it tattooed on my forehead. That's kind of like what they're saying here, like screw you, mom, screw you, school. I don't care. The rainbow with the LGBT movement. This is kind of the same thing. They're like, yeah, we control the weather. Nah, God doesn't control the weather. We think we control the weather. We're God, or they're tempting, teasing, mocking, saying, we remember what happened, and this is like our N word now. We're like, this is a source of pride for us. But that's the reasoning behind the NOAA logos. This is a mockery of the greatest weather event there's ever been, which was the flood, the deluge, and Noah was the main character of that story. So Noah, this is who's coming up with all the weather information today. This is who's telling us where a hurricane's going to hit and this and that. And this is the organization who dropped the ashes into the hurricane. What?
You want to know what? You want to know what the quarterly newsletter from the NOAA/AOML on the Chem Web is named? You want to know what it's named?
Don't tell me it's the Ark.
The Alchemist.
The Alchemist. No way.
Yes, the Alchemist. So you go on here, their newsletter, and they have the Alchemist Chem Web newsletter from NOAA.
What's up, my Noah?
What's up, my Noahs? Damn, you can't make this shit up. This is what I'm saying. Like, the conspiracies are retarded, but then they're doing stuff like this. Like, they're naming their stuff. What else have they named? The ACP, Climate Diagnostic, Earth Portal, Encyclopedia.
Can you zoom in on that, please? Can you zoom in on that? Yeah.
A branch of the NOAA Central Library.
The Alchemists.
The Alchemist. Crazy. Yeah, it's a quarterly newsletter that they alchemy for. Look at this. Look at the name of this article here. Alchemy for the 1980s. NASA Orbital Alchemy Challenge. Here, this is it's ridiculous, dude.
You know what I'm gonna look up? Coordinates for NOAA headquarters.
It's in Washington, D.C., bro.
Right, okay, but here, okay, we got the coordinate. The coordinate's 38 degrees, okay. The 38 degrees latitude. Where did Noah's Ark come to rest? Mount Ararat.
Isn't it on the 33rd?
I could be wrong. You might be right. Bro, it's close. It's real close. It's 39. 39 degrees latitude.
Maybe they know it, bro. Maybe they know it's not 30 and it's actually 39. So that's why they...
Well, that's Mount Ararat. It's supposed to be the mountains of Ararat, so it could be close. Could be in there. But NOAA's headquarters is at 38 latitude. The spot where Noah's Ark landed is 39 latitude. That's pretty close.
That's pretty close. I mean, they're Washington D.C., the city that uses magic, right? Pythagorean. Speaking of Pythagorean geometry, Freemasons, all that stuff. I mean, it's literally there. Yeah, I can't open this up, but literally, The Alchemist is the quarterly newsletter from the NOAA library.
That's crazy.
That's that one's weird. That one's
insane.
Because NOAA is, the book of Genesis is really interesting because alchemists wrote numerous commentaries on the book of Genesis, and they believe that the bloodline of Noah eventually gave birth to Hermes Trismegistus, which is essentially the patron saint of alchemy, of the Gnostics and this whole entire bloodline. And they were able to live for so long because they had access to the Philosopher's Stone, which they learned from the Nephilim.
Right.
So,
well, here, let me ask you. You remember we were talking about crystals and the fast food and the crystal gazing?
Mm-hmm.
They had a real weird name for their internal newsletter too. I forget it, but it was something really weird like that.
The crystals, the burger, right?
Yeah, they had an internal newsletter that's name was something really weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's called like the Crystal Gazer or something. It
For
was
the Alchemist, right? Literally, the Alchemist, right? He is here to manipulate matter to bring forth a bigger change, and we're talking about these people manipulating.
Crystal Gazer. It's called the Crystal Gazer newsletter. For crystals, but that doesn't matter. What else talks about a flood and
So I'm trying to find a connection, right? Because let's say that it is to take out the Garden of Eden, and when you look up, what the ark, the wood that it was made out of, right? It only exists in North Florida and southern Georgia, right? The Florida and Georgia border, the FAG border, right?
Yep.
That area, the FAG area.
Yep. FAG region.
The FAG, the fake and.
Whoa.
Oh, sorry, dude. My bad. All right. Anyways, that area, okay. If it is this sinister plan to wipe out the chosen land, right? The true Garden of Eden, then I could see that being a possibility. And I'm wondering, did the Atlanteans, right? Because we have perhaps Florida being this hub, right? You have the Saxor stones that are obviously anchors of some sort for ships of a large magnitude, right? A huge. Did the Atlanteans control hurricanes at all? Is there any lord? Did what's that guy's name? The medium? Did he ever talk about hurricanes at all?
Edgar Casey.
Edgar Casey.
I'm sure he did, but he talks about their main island falling in like an earthquake or well, Plato does too, of course, but that they lived on Poseidia, that the main island, the main homeland was Poseidia for Poseidon. So, do with that what you will, but
do what thou wilt. Yeah.
I'm not too read up on Edgar Casey, I'll be honest. I've only ever came at his stuff from these various rabbit holes. I never just opened up an Edgar Casey book and read the whole thing.
You've done a 1 or 2 episodes on him, no?
Yeah, my most recent video is on him. The Bimini Road, Bimini Wall. But to me, the big thing that jumps out is the quartz sand. That's what's unique about these two areas. Quartz, Siesta Key, the only quartz beach sand quartz sand beach in the world with close to 100% pure powdered quartz. It's over 99% pure. I think
Check this out.
that's pretty much what that is.
So I could have swore I read in. I try to find it again when I was doing research a little bit for this episode, and that the reason I brought up the giants in Puerto Rico was because I could have swore I found a story. I
Whoa,
believe it.
what is that video, dude?
I
Go
think that's
back.
AI, bro. You got to be careful with
That's
these
gotta
videos.
be. Yeah, that's fucking
Yeah, no, okay,
so fake.
it's AI. Yeah, that's why I was like flipping through them. You just got to be careful. There was a story in Greek mythology where they used the harp to summon the Titans,
Yeah.
and I don't know if that's, again, don't quote me on that. I could have swore I read that. It could have been the liar, um, but I couldn't find it again to put it in the presentation. But either way, in Celtic mythology, for a fact, it was used to open up portals. It was used to unify the real world with the fairy world or the Fey world. So
Mhm.
we have that connection there of harp, perhaps. See, this is AI. This got to, oh, might not. This is AI. Look at the road.
Yeah.
If you look at the road, you see the cars like zigzagging. Look at that.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with this, with the technology that we have nowadays. And I remember an astrologer on my show said that I think it's like Saturn is coming in and Saturn rules illusions and reality. And it's going to get to a point where people won't be able to even trust their own eyes. And that's what we're getting to nowadays, where you can't even trust your own eyes with a video that you see on the internet, because it could be what they call a deep fake or an AI generated video. And it's gotten so good that it's kind of hard to distinguish at times. You have to really be looking to see the subtle changes, because I think that this is a sort of demonic technology, if you will, where it's trying to emulate art, which is a special thing to us. Like, right, humans make art. That's the gold, right? You
Yeah.
ingest the information, you put out the gold, and people interact with that. And now you have a machine that's trying to do the same thing, and it's doing a horrible job at it, giving people six fingers and all that stuff,
Totally. Yeah. There's what else is there to say about
So
NOAA? Go ahead.
so far we've covered, right, the hurricane. We did a recap on the hurricane. I don't know if you were able to upload the footage. You said you have on the ground footage that you went to.
Yeah, you could just go to my YouTube channel if you want to search it. I'd have to send it through email to you or something, but it's my most recent video. That's AI. That's got to be AI, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Come on.
this
So
oh,
gay. What is wrong with people?
I don't know. Was that
That was
AI?
real. Was that real?
This is AI. Well,
That's AI. Yeah.
is it? Damn,
Yes.
dude. I don't
That's AI.
know, bro.
That's AI. That's AI for sure. But the next one,
That's real.
that looks real. Yeah.
That's
That
fake as
looks fake.
fuck.
Yeah.
All right. So you said your latest video,
Yeah.
up close view. Okay, I got it here. So here, let's play this. Let me share my screen. See, this is why I want to do this, because you got so much fake shit on the internet nowadays, and we're gonna be hit with spreading fake news, which we don't do on here. We're streaming to Old World, Florida, and we're also streaming to the Juan Juan podcast channel. And one thing we aren't around here is fake and gay. All right.
Yep.
So here,
Yep.
let me pull this up. Let me share the audio. Up close view, share audio. Okay, cool. All right, so here we are. And you want to talk over, or do you talk in the video?
No, there's no talking. Just walking, driving around. You can cut the audio. It's worthless.
All right, there you go. Well, if you can talk over.
Yeah. Yeah, my buddy Jeffrey, he was just in here. He just left. But he was part of the relief effort. He does works with like cell towers and stuff.
So I have something to say about that.
Yeah.
So I recently taking off my jacket because I'm hot. It's getting hot in here with all this NOAA talk and everything. So
Did he? Bow, bow,
I
bow, bow.
applied to work for FEMA, right? Using because I own heavy equipment and trucks and stuff like that. And I applied to work, and apparently they halted all the operation for whatever reason. They said that they needed to reassess how they were going to do the cleanup. Now,
Yeah.
it could be a logistical, I'm sure it's a logistical nightmare. You have debris on the side of the road, and if you don't have the right equipment to load the trucks, obviously they're going to be sitting around. And people sat around for an entire week doing one load a day. All right, you're talking about trucks were getting paid a lot of money. There was a lot of money going around, and they literally spent an entire week doing almost nothing and still getting paid until it got to the point where they halted all operations. And last I heard, they were assessing the situation to see how they were going to tackle it. Now, is that hinting at a sort of conspiracy of like, hey, they don't want to go out there, they don't want you to see something or etc. I don't know, but it is kind of weird that they haven't gotten their shit together after this much time to help these people out, because a lot of places got devastated, dude, like completely decimated.
Yeah. In the back there, all those houses are ripped off their foundations. All the mobile homes are like tilted over. But my buddy was telling me that. Well, I was there. We were there on our way out. It got dark, and we had to get gas. Okay. I don't know anything about their work orders or what they're officially supposed to be doing, but I know that when we were on our way out of there, we were empty on gas. Okay. I do know that FEMA has pretty much 100% rights to all the gas in an emergency area like that. So when they come in, and it's contractors. It's not like everyone works at FEMA. It's FEMA hires whoever.
Subcontractors, yeah.
Yeah. But still, when you go into a place like that, when we were leaving, and when we're filming this video, a lot of people hadn't even come back to their house yet.
Wow.
Like there was nobody there. It was like a ghost town. So at night, people are coming back in the next night, coming back into town, and they're going to fill up gas. Well, every single gas station was filled with people lined up for gas. Each pump had 3 people waiting in line at each pump.
Wow.
For gas, and a line going down the road. Nobody's getting gas. FEMA has the exclusive rights to the gas in an emergency zone like this because they need it for their trucks, they need it for that. Well, guess what, Juan? There was nobody there. There was no FEMA, very, very little. One truck was there at the diesel pump, and we come in behind them, right? But all the other normal people, all the regular, us, we're normal, but we had a FEMA number. Is the difference. One truck was allowed to get gas, the whole gas station, full of gas, not allowed to pump. These people, it's starting to look like The Walking Dead. These people were going crazy, about to fight, foaming at the mouth. Give me the gas, give me the gas. You don't have a FEMA number? You're dead to me. You don't have the FEMA number? You know what I mean? Walk home. You're going to sleep the whole night at the gas station. They didn't care. And the little Indian guy in the gas station, they don't care. They are actually getting paid to withhold the gas.
Yeah.
They're getting paid to withhold the gas from people. And like you just said, they hadn't even really ironed out a game plan. FEMA wasn't even in town yet. And there's no gas going to the people who live there until whatever DeSantis did.
The free gas.
Yeah, a little.
But you had gas though, right? You had a different type of gas.
We had plenty of weed to make it home, but my friend Jeffrey had to show him a number. He didn't even show a FEMA number. He showed him another number.
A cage number?
That he kind of like, oh yeah, I'm with FEMA, and showed him a number, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
He just kind of looked at it. He's like, yeah, okay, let us fill up. But we almost didn't make it out of there. We almost had to sleep the whole night at that gas
Oof.
station, like most of the people there did. So, FEMA, at the very least, they're incompetent. But they're pretty evil too.
And this is the part that now I'm not saying that they didn't give any money to the people in North Carolina and all these other places. I know they did. But the fact that they aid foreign countries and send so much money to foreign countries when our own country has issues that need to be addressed, that kind of pisses me off a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like that to me is messed up. And now especially with this, they're saying that FEMA doesn't have, they're low on funds. What does that mean? And like I said, when they halted operations, I was like, so what's going on? They need to assess further. When are you going to start back up? We don't know.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't know? Because the stuff was there the storm before. They didn't pick up the stuff the storm before. The stuff was on the side of the road.
100%.
And then that floats up and it causes, and it mix in with the new stuff. And now they have a shit show. But yeah, absolutely. I think to me, it's a logistical thing. And it could, I'm not saying that there's a cabal trying to not help. I'm not saying that. It probably is a logistical nightmare too. Look at that tree. Damn.
Oh, dude.
Crazy looking tree.
Yeah.
But it's wild, dude. You know that. Do you go to Minnesota Key or?
No, we went. That's where we were trying to go look, but they weren't letting people on. This was right after, the very next day they didn't let us on.
It's because they don't want you to see the laser beam
right
marks on the sand and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, dude, it's you gotta. They were using the microwave and it was still some residuals, but yeah, no, this is crazy, dude.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you want to talk about the stuff that was brewing in the tropics. You want to talk about that real quick?
What do you mean, like in the new hurricane?
So yeah, there was allegedly, right? So let's go to the National Hurricane. Our boys over at NOAA, and they were talking about, right, some cyclones forming and how they could potentially, again, this area was of interest. 7 days, there's a 40% chance in 7 days. Now, we have a cold front right now in Florida. I don't know about you, but it was kind of chilly out today. I know you're further down south, but for me, it was a little chilly. It was in the, I think, 70s, like low 70s this morning for me. And that's cold to me. I get like the iguanas in Miami, dude, where when it gets too cold, I just freeze up and I just can't move. It's a Floridian thing, but these two areas. Here, let's go to tropical tidbits. Tropical. There was some movement on this one. This one was spinning. So you see it spinning there, but it just can't get its stuff together enough to form. But again, look at Puerto Rico right here. We have, still some time, but they were potentially looking at two. What's the name of this one? I don't know what the name of that one is. I don't know what the name of that one is, but that one's also forming. Let's see here.
Yeah, what's the next name? What's the next name on the list?
Nadine, which means I looked it up. I think it means
birth.
Does it?
Swim? Means, to swim or to be born?
Oh God! Next hurricane, Nadine, Nadine, will be the 14th storm name in the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season.
Yeah.
Which is, let's see here, Nadine meaning. I thought it meant like peace or something like that. It means hope.
Hope.
The name Nadine is a feminine name of French origin that means hope. That's what AI is saying over here.
What's the Spanish meaning? Look it up.
Meaning Spanish.
Nadar means to swim, right?
Nadal, yeah, means to swim.
Yeah. And natal is like born, to be born. Natural, native. Natal.
So the etymology comes from hope. I'm still getting more hope over here. Nadine.
Let me see.
more popular over time and is commonly used in Arabic communities. It's a French name, I guess.
Nadia means nobody, right? Like Nadia.
Nadia, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
nobody knows nobody, right?
yeah, Nadia. So you're talking about like Eastern European, like hope, right? Like Nadia. Favorite names, Nadia.
So showing the forecast models here, but people were talking about it's coming from here and it's gonna cross again over where Helene had come in. But there is this front, and I read an article that said that we're protected right now or something like that. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully the Illuminati doesn't send another hurricane our way to punish us for our sins, dude.
We'll be all right.
We'll be all right. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
There's hope for humanity still. But anything else, Longo? We covered the hurricane, HAARP, the occult significance, mystical meanings. We talked about NOAA. We talked about our boy Peter Dodge Ram that got sprinkled into the hurricane and fed to the eye right before it made landfall. Anything else, dude?
What was this guy's birthday? Peter Dodge. He died 3/3. They say he was born November 12th, from what I'm reading. November 12th.
I got born 1950 doesn't have an actual birthday, which is interesting.
Okay, that could. Yeah,
they were literally talking to his sister.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't ask for his birthday, like his actual birthday, right? March 3/3. That's so bizarre. 3/3. Florida founded on 3/3. You know, Illuminati confirmed. I'm sure he was a nice guy. Right? I'm sure he was a cool guy. I'm not trying to.
I don't know. Looking at him, I'm starting to think he's like he's like a female to male trans or something.
Oh my god,
That's
dude.
a terrible thing to say about
That's
someone.
a terrible thing. Look at his resting place, Gulf of Mexico. Oh my goodness. Every last bit of old Peter. They dumped him into the old Gulf, the Fertile Crescent.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes! Yeah, I'm not seeing an actual birthday for him. Florida.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. But
Interesting.
they say he had a 44-year career.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else is there to milk? What else can we milk out of this? Oh, you see the symbol that they... So, here's a good one. You know how they went out and they dropped his ashes from the plane? Well, it's a NOAA plane, and the plane leaves like it gets tracked everywhere it goes. So you can go look up the shape that the plane was making. It's a flight pattern.
Do we know?
It's very similar to those double triangle symbols we were looking
No.
earlier.
Come on, dude.
It's either like a radioactive symbol or like a triple delta, like 3 triangles, or it's a double triangle like that symbol, the flag you were showing earlier. Similar.
Do you have it pulled up? Because I'm trying to find it here.
Yeah, flight path. I'll send it to you. You got to get a fucking iPhone. I have to pull up my phone every time I have to talk to you when we're live.
iPhones are of the devil, dude.
Right.
I'm not down with Satan. All right. So it's the forbidden fruit, bro. It's the half computer was $666 with 66 cents. It's Satan, dude. It's Satan. So
Whatever.
don't ever say that to me ever again. Aircraft flight path.
Well, if it weren't for that fruit.
What the hell is this? User desktop. What are you sending me?
I just sent you the... Here, let me try and drag it to you. No, see, I can't even send it through there.
Wow, bro. Ridiculous.
Fucking whatever. Just look up Tribute to Peter Dodge, Flight Path.
Oh my goodness, bro.
You see it?
It looks like I see it. This is bad.
Right.
So we got it here. Torrens of the
At Chipotle, people.
city of the pyramids, Choronzon,
Well,
which is
well, hang on. There's actually something to that. Okay, barbacoa comes from barbecue, which
mhm.
is how they would sacrifice. Yes, it's how you cook meat, but it was also a method of human sacrifice to the
Yes.
native Floridians. Barbecue, the 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 scaffolding itself that you'd put a body on to burn was known as a barbecue. So, two of the items at the Chipotle, two of the common meats in Spanish have demons associated with their name. Chorizo and barbacoa. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, yeah. Is chorizo pork?
Chorizo's like sausage, right? You're the fucking pork expert, dude. You fucking tell me.
Your chorizo is pork, so it makes sense, right? It's a demonic I was gonna say fruit. It's a demonic meat. The swine are what
Yeah,
the demons are casted into.
totally.
Perhaps the pigs are us in a certain evolution, on the scale of evolution. I know you don't believe in evolution, but a previous version of us. They literally take pig skin and graft it onto people. They do organ
Yeah. Point. There are some people think that a pretty long while that the Romans developed a food for their legions that they could eat. No vibrational and bloodthirsty, just no mercy.
It's loaded with parasites. We know that.
Yeah, so it induces a state of rabies. To eat pork, it induces what they call rabia, to be rabid.
To be a
And
rabbi, yeah.
this is why police stations typically like to feed, if they can help it, if they can choose, will choose to feed officers pork. That's why we call them, not exclusively, but it's one of the reasons we call them pig. Is
Oh my god, dude.
But here, Libra rules the law. It's domestication syndrome. Dog. There's just any species. If you remove all, if you're removed all, uh, weather, that an get through a generation that's stuck the whole. facial features to droop, start to get saggy, a little bit off, like they're not quite fitting where they're supposed to fit. Things like typically it's live. The many animals that version where beautiful certain species, you're just trying to strip it of its natural in breed. Races, certain groups of people on planet Earth are starting to exhibit features of domestication syndrome. Not only that, but you can almost know, like hairless. Your mom, just kidding. But you turn it into a floppy, hairless, lifeless, soulless, like slave creature. That's what pigs are. It's been said, I'm not a biologist or geneticist. It's been said, and I've seen enough evidence to show that you can do this to almost any animal. And a bulldog would be a good example. You can do that to a cow. You can do that to a... So a pig, they do it to most, because it's probably the shortest transition from what a pig normally is to that slob thing. But
Yo, real quick, because we're getting some comments that you're glitching out, but over on my end, can people over on the Juan attack from the Brazilians? It look out. How is it looking? Can I get some oranges in the chat or something?
looks okay to me.
No one on my side has said anything. It's on your side, on your channel.
Shit, man. Maybe we're human.
It's in and out. Your internet streaming. Going through about my sister's dog looking like a person. I go, that's a person in a dog suit, because he looks at your face. He looks like a fucking person, right? And I remember the first time I ever shot my first hog, and it wasn't the got the
Impressed?
piglets. I'm looking at it. My friend tells me, get ready. So I draw back, and the pig turns and looks over in our direction. Now it can't see us, right? Because we were down, the wind, we had set it up, whatever. And it looked like, bro, I swear to you, it looked like I was looking at a person. And I stopped and I go, dude, kind of felt stuck. Have something to them. Are they lore versions of ourselves? We don't know, but it's interesting nonetheless.
Yeah, if you want to get real,
but it's interesting nonetheless.
yeah, if you want to get real nasty and conspiratorial, and even like this is anti. This can earn you the reputation of anti-Semitic. My name is anti-Semitic. Or show here.
Yes.
Certain parts of the world.
Yes.
We'll just leave it at that.
Yes.
We'll just leave it at that. But pigs have a very similar legacy. Let's just say that. And that might be why they ended up how they look. Is that humans mixed with pigs at some point.
Yikes.
Whether fuck pig people.
Yeah, the Florida. That's what they. That.
The most uplifting animal, like elephant, elevating, right?
Mhm.
Elephant, it's very sacred, abundant. The pig is considered the lowest of the low of animals. So you can kind of see this special connection between them. But that's kind of an occult, theory that the pig is half human, half elephant, a corruption of the elephant, and spiritually, it's nemesis, you could say.
Interesting. But that does make a lot of sense, and I wouldn't doubt it that they're doing stuff like that. And if we go back and trace the story of Genesis, the Nephilim were doing the same. The Watchers were doing the same. After they got done with the daughters of men, they inserted themselves into the animals, and maybe that's why we can. Centaurs. Oh, but check it out on my channel, or maybe after the stream it'll process. If it doesn't, let me know. We can upload a regular version of it. Maybe it got too hot for the Brazilians.
Yeah,
Who knows?
The Brazilians don't like when we tell their little pig secrets, do they? Their little hurricane magic pig kiss. You don't kiss and tell. Okay, you know what I mean.